Sometimes the world looks like you ain't ever seen it before. Stuck behind never-ending windows, all you need is a door. Searching for something to put a smile back on your face. Just remember, in unusual times, it can come from an unusual place. You need a partner for the ride, 'cause everybody needs a Clyde. So set your worries to the side. Just ask, say the word and I'll be there. Just ask, you know the greatest things in life all come in a pair. They say hindsight's 20/20, but that ain't far enough behind me. So if you want the sweetest honey, I think hindsight's 1990. There's no need to pretend I got a hand I can lend, 'cause when you really need a friend, just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sara Fergenson. Sarah, how are you?
Jess, I'm doing so good. I just got back to the library and I got all my sex books. And there's a big collection. I've got Give Me an O, of course, the classic.
Yep.
No Means No, which is a cautionary tale. Right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Men is from Mars, Women are from Venus. That's
Yeah.
also a classic.
When you went to the library, is the first thing that you said as soon as you opened the doors, "Excuse me, where are your sex books?"
Yes, that's exactly what I requested. Yeah.
Because everyone knows that if you're so self-assured about sex, you scream about it when you're in public.
Yes, yeah. I also got the book Only for Special Occasions. That one might be my favorite.
Wow. Great. Well, we're not alone. This is like probably the cringiest episode of Felicity we've gotten so far. And as soon as we saw the title, I think everyone in the audience was like, we know who's going to guess. It's the man who loves romance and also seemingly loves Noel. So why wouldn't he want to talk about the episode that Felicity and Noel might do it? It's Tom Palmer. Hi, Tom.
Hi. Yeah, can we talk about how you kind of teased me last week where you were like, oh yeah, so you were like, so I don't think there's going to be sex, but based on our guest, he's just like a giant pervert. And then Sarah was like, oh, giant pervert.
Who said that? Who said that?
I did not say giant pervert. You love romance, and tell me that's not true. Tom might be, Sarah, you tell me if this is untrue. Of all of our friends, I think Tom is the biggest hopeless romantic of everyone.
Yeah, I would say so. Tom is
he loves the love story.
Pisces Venus as well as I am. So I think that oftentimes we're very like dive into love first. Like, why not just risk it all for the biscuit in a way? So I think
biscuit
that, like,
is sex, right?
No, it's romance, Jessica. It's romance. It's love.
I'm sorry, you didn't do it all for the nookie?
Oh my God. Ew. What is that, Limp Bizkit? Get out of here.
Did it all for the nookie.
No, there has to be like an X card for a Limp Bizkit reference on this podcast. Yeah.
That was where we went too far, not any of the other things we've said over our multiple hundreds of episodes.
No, that is disgusting. No, but like I mean, we have had you, Tom, on a lot of episodes of God, what was that show that we used to cover?
Dawson's Creek.
Of Dawson's Creek. And you, of course, were like the lover of love. So I'm very curious to hear how your Felicity journey began. Who are you shipping? And how are you enjoying the adventure?
Yeah, so Felicity was kind of a blind spot in my like initial like run through the CWWB teen dramas. I was into the Dawson's Creek, the Buffy, the Angel, eventually the Smallville, but like I hadn't Felicity, and I was like, well, I guess I should go back and watch Felicity. So I did like one watch through back in college, so 2009 ish. But I haven't watched it since, and so my memory of Felicity is sort of like where Jess's was for Dawson's Creek, where I sort of know the big things.
Yeah.
And I know some of the twists. And like I know like a couple of things that happen and who ends up with who, but there's like a lot of surprises. Like I did not know that Richard was a big deal. I would not have been able to give you a heads up about Richard.
Richard makes a reappearance, and I cannot, like, when I tell you, one of the first like 5 minutes of this episode, Richard appears, and I was like, oh, just wait, because shout out to everyone who loves Richard. Again, I apologize, I did not know he was such a big deal that people love him. But you know what, Sarah, this is what happens when we cover a show that we've never seen that everyone else loves. We're gonna roast your faves. It's only a matter of time before I certainly will roast your fave, because no one is safe from me. And if you try to start fires in buildings, I used to work in insurance, and that's a big ass no for me.
Not for nothing, I was very supportive of Richard last episode.
You were.
So
I
that
called him
is
a
on
moron.
Well, I just want to say that it's unfair because he obviously, now we know, has experience being a junior fighter. So we should have given him like the beliefs and the like, given him the I don't know, the doubt, what is the word I'm looking for?
Benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt that he knew how to handle a barbecue in the house or in the building because he is a junior fighter, and he put out the fire in this episode.
This
so
is some bullshit. I can't wait to talk
Richard
about this.
is our savior. Thank goodness for Richard. Love him. Love it. What? What's the problem?
Do you want me to fact check you live on the
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, he's not the one. It was someone else.
What do you mean?
He's not the one that had the fire extinguisher. He's in the group, but he didn't have the fire extinguisher.
I don't remember it that way.
Well, we're going to talk about it in season 1, episode 11, Gimme and O, which, again, this show, Thomas, is such a fucking tease. It's like, oh, we're going to do finally, so you think they're going to have sex. And then we're going to do Gimme and O, which obviously is a reference to an orgasm, but they're still not going to have sex.
Yeah, but this episode at least was about sex.
This is fair. Okay, this is fair. Finally, I have more of a bone to pick because of that. But we're back from winter break. So last we left off, everyone was going home for winter break except for Julie and Ben, who we thought were boning, but turns out they were not. They're just hanging out as one does. But Felicity is back from vacation, and she's like, I spent 2 weeks at home, and it was fine. It was great. I love California, but then I decided I miss New York. I need to be home. That's where my home is. But like, let's be real, Tom. She missed Noel's soft, pillowy lips. That's what she missed.
Yeah, and she comes back on a mission. She's like, yeah, 2 weeks away. I was like, I've decided I'm ready to have sex. Like that's apparently that's what happens when you're away from Noel for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you just want his dick so badly. Like, the thing is, Sarah, like, I guess my problem is Felicity jumps from the stage of making out to like sex right away. Like, I guess we don't know for sure, but we haven't seen them even go like under the shirt, down the pants. Like, I don't know. Have they even gone to the other bases first?
It doesn't matter. This woman is 19 years old and she's a virgin. She's ready to lose her virginity. Yeah. And she's been, she said 2 weeks away?
Only 2 weeks, yeah.
Look, it's not only 2 weeks. When you are with somebody, you want to be with them constantly. Even a week is horrible.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Felicity shows back up. Noel's dealing with an RA issue. Let's talk about this. Richard's roommate has an old Christmas tree, and he wants it to stay up in their dorm room. But Richard says, and I quote, "It's a fire hazard. Richard, should we go back a week when you decided to light a fucking barbecue in your dorm room and this tree, this Christmas tree?
No, Jessica.
It's a fire hazard?
No, Christmas trees cause the most amount of house fires every year.
Like, well, you want to know why barbecues generally don't cause house fires? Because usually you don't light them indoors.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of with Jess on that. But I do think this is really just a sign that Richard has gone through this incredible character arc. Like in one episode, one episode he was like, "I'm just gonna have a barbecue in my room," and in the next episode he's like, "Fire safety is the number one issue for me."
If we want to give him that credit, sure. Or we could say he's a hypocrite, but sure, we could give him the credit. And I will agree with Richard that leaving your Christmas tree up until February is fucking insanity. Now, if you have a fake Christmas tree, I get it a little bit more. If you're like, this brings me joy for the entire month of January, sure. But if you have a real Christmas tree, that thing is not going to have a single ass needle left on it by February. There's no way.
No, they're just all dried out. That's the thing. And that's what makes them really susceptible to fire. Travelersinsurance.com gives us
stop it
10 tips to make sure that your Christmas tree doesn't catch on fire. Number 2 is water your Christmas tree daily.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. There are at least 200 fires that like cause your entire house to burn down.
Now, what does it say if you Google barbecuing indoors? What does it say if you Google that?
I will tell you. Indoor house fires.
No, indoor barbecue.
I did barbecue
Okay,
indoor house fires. Leave me the fuck alone. Get off my shit. I'm
concerned about fire safety.
You're obviously not, because you're not concerned about the Christmas tree.
Oh, I agree about the Christmas tree. Get it out of there.
There's nothing about grilling indoors.
Okay. Well, Noel decides that the way to solve this is to just break a branch off and be like, here you go, not a bad luck, and it's not a fire hazard. Get out of my face. But I don't know why he doesn't just throw the dead tree out. I think he's just so excited to see Felicity. He's like, whatever gets this tree out of the hall, I'm going to just bring it into my room, I guess.
My dad said every year his favorite week of the year was when all the nice Christian people put their Christmas trees out to get thrown out, because because he was a Christmas hater.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever.
This might also explain why Sarah's like really telling us about how Christmas trees start fires too. I think
she's also a Christmas hater.
No, I'm not. I have a Christmas tree most years.
And so Felicity and Noel are reunited, and he also has this huge iMac, which Sarah, we've talked about, I feel like a ton, is these iMacs that had the pretty colors, and he has a blue one. It's so pretty.
One's my favorite. Yes. This is the computer that I learned how to type on. The elementary school had these computers in our computer lab, and I was obsessed with them. I loved the colors. I think that our school had the blue ones, but I just wish they would bring them back, because then you can see all the electronic bits in the back. Tom, do you remember these?
Oh, 100% I remember these. Yeah, they were pretty cool. Like, I think this was like, I'm a PC person, but this was like the best looking Mac. This was the one where I was like, maybe I want to be a Mac person instead.
They're very aesthetically pleasing. I will give Apple the credit that their devices, their computers are all very sleek looking. And this one is no exception. But Felicity picks the wrong time to say, I've been thinking and I think we should have sex, because Noel just straight up drops the computer.
That is terrible.
That's an expensive thing to drop like that.
I mean, yeah, hopefully he got Apple Care, because if he did not, then he's fucked.
I think he uses duct tape later to put it together.
So he is fucked. No Apple Care.
He's not fucked. Remember, they decided not to fuck.
True. You got to get the Apple Care. You really do. It's really important. I don't know if they count dropping your computer under the Apple Care rules, but you got to get it.
Mm-hmm. And Tom, Felicity is speaking to Sally because of course she is. And she says that like I know it seems very suddenly, but I've been thinking about this all the time. She says ever since I got to college, I felt disconnected. Like everyone's had sex, and she just walks around and she's like, "Yep, they've had sex. They've had sex."
Can you do that in real life, Tom? Can you indicate who's had sex and who
She has
hasn't?
great. Is it Sex Star? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's sex star. I think she just thinks everyone has had sex, and so she's just randomly pointing at people. And being like, oh,
yeah, those two have definitely had sex.
I mean, you can do that, yeah.
Maybe this is my new game.
Who's had sex and who hasn't?
Yeah.
Do you ever if you went to a restaurant, do you ever like look around and try to determine like people's relationships with each other? Like, oh, they're on a first date versus oh, they've been dating for years versus oh, they're like there's trouble in paradise with that couple.
Yeah.
Sarah, do you ever do that?
I'm focused on my date.
I do not believe that, but
you don't?
No, I believe that you are very snoopy and would want to know what everyone was up to.
I mean, I'm curious, but I don't remember if I've ever like really sat like at least recently. Well, honestly, I don't go to restaurants that much anymore. Maybe that's my problem.
I was gonna say I don't go to restaurants a ton, but I've done it in the past. But yeah, this is the game that Felicity is playing. And then she meets up with Julie, and we get a nice update from Julie where she says that she did tell her parents about what happened to her with Zach, and they actually got it. They didn't make her feel guilty. Her dad even hugged her. And so like very, very exciting, Sarah, that Julie had a decent time telling her parents about this.
That's phenomenal news. I'm really glad that Julie decided to be open with her parents. I know that in the last episode, she was really concerned that if she was opening up to her parents, they would look at her differently. And I'm glad that she got over that fear. So that was huge. I'm really happy for Julie, and I'm happy that Julie seemed to have a very good Christmas break between spending time with her parents, but also spending time with Ben.
Yeah, and so Ben walks up, and they all kind of say hi, and it's a little awkward because like Felicity says she met Ben's dad, and he's like, oh, they seem nice. It was like really awkward, but then Tom turns to Julie and he's like, oh, how have you been? So like they're play acting like they haven't been hanging out a ton.
Yes, they're definitely having a charade in front of Felicity. Because I think they both know, like, even though like it makes no sense at all for Felicity to like have any like ownership over Ben, like they both know like she's gonna freak out, and they're 100% right. And
are they though? Because I just don't know if Felicity, in her height of like really being into Noel at this time, like would have freaked out, but also they're acting out of experience, and via experience every single time they shared something with Felicity. You're right, she did freak out. I think this time in particular, I think that what she said that she was angry about is actually valid, where she's like spilling out her guts to Julie, and Julie did not tell her and then told Noel before her.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Sarah. I think like I don't expect Julie to say it right away, right? Like they're about to sit down for class. They're not sitting one-on-one. So this interaction makes sense where like, you know, Ben and Julie are keeping it a little hush hush until Julie has the opportunity. But then she has the opportunity and doesn't take it. And partly obviously because Noel says, oh no, don't tell her right now. You have to wait. So it's not, you know, I don't put it all on Julie. But certainly I think we'll talk about it, about like what percentages we think Felicity is actually upset about like the fact that Julie and Ben are together, and what part of her is upset that Julie withheld this information.
But was it a situation where Felicity's going to get upset no matter what, and like this just determines like what she's getting upset? Like she was either going to get upset. Yeah, I think they were in a rock and a hard place, and I think they
there was no winning in this situation.
Like they could have taken the high ground and told her, and then her freak out would have been less justified. But I think she was freaking out regardless.
That's fair.
Yeah. So then Felicity is back to work at Dean and DeLuca, and like no, timing, please. Like, coffee shops are so busy, especially a New York City coffee shop. And he comes in and he's like, can you imagine going all the way to Dean and DeLuca? I mean, I don't know how far it is from the campus, but he's just like, hey, I just wanted to double check. You definitely want to like fuck. And Felicity's like, yeah. But you know what? Why, like, we should have this conversation in a public place over the counter. And I definitely need to bring up that you should get tested for HIV.
I mean, this place just seems like the place to go strictly for the gossip and messiness.
Javier is standing over there like, yes, no, spill the fucking tea.
Yeah, I really would at this point like to go to Dean DeLuca just to listen in on these fools.
I bet there's some customers who go there like just to get the scoop on Felicity's nonsense. Like they show up and Felicity's not working. And they're like, no, I don't even like coffee. I
just love, I will say, like, I'm gonna give Noel credit here. When Felicity says this, like, I want you to get tested, he immediately is like, of course, absolutely, like, I will, no problem at all. He honestly, I don't know what Noel wouldn't do to have sex with Felicity. Like, he would walk over fire. He would swim a mile across a lake. Like, he would do anything to fuck Felicity right now.
Well, don't you want somebody who is obsessed with you, though? Because, yeah, like, I want somebody to go to the end of the earth for doing anything for me.
I think my problem is it comes on a little too strong. Like, to the point where when I could see all of the white around Noel's eyes from how wide his eyeballs are, it's just a little too much for me.
Little too eager beaver.
I think so. Like, boy, calm down like a little bit.
I mean, but like,
say it, Tom. Say it.
He's a teenage guy. This is like all he wants. This is entire.
Well, we know he didn't fuck Hannah, right? Like they didn't have sex while she visited.
No,
right? Did they? I don't remember.
Debatable, I think.
I mean, I don't know. It's a little bit of a mystery
He's
because
such a horn dog. Again, he's a teenage boy. Like, I get it, but like, I feel like you need to like go. I don't know, go punch a punching bag or something. Like, get out some of this energy.
No, just come. It's fine. It's fine.
Do you think he needs to do like a pre-date masturbation session situation?
I mean, if he wants if he wants her to have any sort of a good time, I think so.
He needs to, what is it, fluffer? No, that's the other thing. Never mind.
I experienced people getting way too excited too fast when I was trying to lose my virginity. It like absolutely got kicked down the line a few times because of that. So yes, I do think so.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when it comes up, but the way Felicity was going about this was not going to last very long.
No. No.
She was like we'll get to it.
Felicity could have broken things. And then we have this little side storyline between apparently Blair is back. Blair is now back on the show, and he has gotten Elena a gift. And the problem is she opens it and she says she loves it. She has no fucking idea what this thing is. Sarah, can I tell you what I thought this thing was at first?
What'd you think? I thought it was a tube top.
I thought it was a book cover when I first saw it.
Oh, a book sock?
Yeah, remember book socks? That's what it looked like to me. And I thought it was going to be way worse when she was wearing it and showed up. And he's like, a book cover.
I mean, Tom, if essentially it was a Survivor buff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and as we know from Survivor, you can really use those Survivor buffs in like many different ways. So like,
yeah, they could be tube tops, they could be headbands, as it was. They could be skirts. All the tiny little girls get to wear it as skirts. Good for them. Yeah. They could be wristbands. They can be scarves. So honestly, it's a versatile piece of fabric.
And honestly, when she wears it as a skirt later, like, it doesn't look bad. Like, it's a very short skirt, but like, I've seen shorter, like her booty wasn't hanging out. So I think it was fine.
Yeah, she pulled it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that it could be anything and everything you want to be, but she is bamboozled. And it is, I mean, it's the first gift that he's ever gotten her. and she didn't want to offend him. So she was just like,
Mhm.
I love it. And then she had to just try to figure it out throughout the rest of the episode, which was
Mhm.
funny because she wound up asking Noel, she asked Felicity.
Yeah. And she's so cute about this. Like I love seeing Elena, who can be a bit tough. You know what I mean? Like she has a little bit of walls up at times. I love her being like, well, I can't ask him now. I've already said I liked it. I just thought it was
Yeah.
like really cute. And also good on Blair for like getting her a surprise little gift. We love that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it was a good effort.
How do we feel
Sarah
about
hates it.
clothing as like the first gift you get? Someone?
I think it's a bold move. Well, it's technically it's a hair thing, so I don't think that's as bold as clothing.
I guess.
It's
Yeah.
a little bit of a bold move to get someone something and be like, I thought about you when I saw this, because what if they fucking hate it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, they can hate
Yeah.
it or they can have no idea what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Well,
nice
it's a
that
risk.
he got her something, so we like that.
Sure. Gifts. Love a gift.
Yeah.
Noel then, this is so fucking weird. What a weird conversation. Noel sees Ben and he's just like, apparently they're fucking friends now or something. Cause he's just like, hey Ben, how you doing? And he's like, good, how are you? And he's like, great, the doctor says great. Every indication is I'm just fine. And it's like, Noel, are you okay? Did you eat that weird smart juice again? Like, did you eat beets? What's happening?
Can I explain what's going on in this scene? Because
please.
there's the subtext here is that Noel is about to have sex with Felicity, and he's kind of like rubbing that in Ben's face without ever actually saying it, but like he knows, and so
Yeah.
he's like around.
Oh, hey
Ben.
buddy, I'm great. How are you?
And so even though he doesn't say it, like he's mentally like just thinking about it. And so that's like why he's approached Ben. He's like, I've got the upper hand now. Even though some random girl comes up to the two of them and invites Ben, and specifically not Noel, which is like one of the most out-of-pocket things I've seen. He's just like, I've got the upper hand now.
Well, yeah, because like Ben gets randomly invited by some random girl to something, and Noel's like, you know what? Yesterday that would have bothered me, but you know what? Today it doesn't. It's like, okay, Noel.
I believe it.
It's like, oh, he's like, well, you know what? I would have hated you, but now it's amusing. It doesn't affect me. Life is moving on. Things are changing.
Yeah.
And Noel so badly wants to be like, nanny, nanny, nanny. Felicity wants to fuck me.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Like, he is absolutely just like dunking on him and just trying so hard to not rub it in his face. It's a little obnoxious, but
It's so obnoxious. Like it's essentially like a dick measuring contest, but no one's pulling their dick out.
Well,
It's ridiculous.
Ben just doesn't give a fuck,
Ben
right?
has no idea what the fuck is even going on.
Because it's not like Ben ever truly liked Felicity, as far as we know. It's just like a contest in Noel's own head against
Yeah.
Ben.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, Tom, I know. So you know a lot more, right? Like you're spoiled on certain aspects. I know this is not going to happen, but I would love if for the rest of Felicity, for the rest of these 4 seasons, this rivalry was only one-sided. I would love if Noel continually was against Ben and Ben was just like, I don't care.
That would be very funny.
But it's not going to happen. It's definitely going to be like a back and forth, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about the Noel Ben relationship. I don't think it's as intense as the Pacey Dawson.
Oh
rivalry.
yeah.
I do think it is maybe as well. No, Pacey Dawson was pretty two-sided. They both really sort of were against each other.
Yeah, they were the real frenemies here, but it seems like Ben really is just like, I am in my own lane and things just keep happening to me. Like,
poor Ben again. Poor
yeah.
fucking Ben. He just
Well,
gets stalked.
Yeah.
Like put in this triangle for no reason.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly. He gets put in the triangle for no reason, and then he gets in trouble for cheating, even though he had nothing to do with it. Like, really, at this point in time, poor Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the other thing I'll say is Noel doesn't say I'm gonna have sex with Felicity. Probably is like that would be too crass. But if Ben asked anything, Noel would be like, oh, I mean, if you want to know,
yeah, you basically pried it out of me. Yeah, he's itching. He's itching for Ben to ask.
Ben doesn't ask anything, but if Ben asked just a little, I bet Noel would have like immediately been like, yeah, I guess.
Noel is that person who like enters the room, like sits down next to you and gives you like a smirk or a smile and is begging you to ask them what's going on. Why are you so happy? That's all he wants. That's all he wants. No, I can't. Meanwhile,
and by the way,
yes.
By the way, I've got this insight because I've 100% done this. Not this exactly, but I've definitely been like said things with the hope that someone would ask more questions to find out what I was talking about.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask questions, and you will tell me. Got it? No problem.
Meanwhile, Felicity is being just so cringy, so cringy. She goes to a bookstore and she's like, I'm not going to be embarrassed about sex because I'm an adult. And so she walks in and like straight up to the counter and goes, excuse me, where are your sex books? And she practically shouts it in this bookstore.
I love it. It is so funny. And yeah, it's very cringy, but she's just trying desperately to figure out what to do. She wants to be prepared. She wants to research. And yeah, she is definitely talking a little bit too loud because the bookstore lady is like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, the lady goes like, oh, is this for a class? And Felicity's like, no, I'm buying them for my personal edification. And she's like, oh, what like specifically were you looking for? And she's like, having it.
Yeah, and she's basically got Jess voice where she is just so loud and she's projecting.
Jess voice.
And the bookstore lady and Felicity's like, am I making you uncomfortable? No, it's just you're really, really loud. Like there's I'm like right next to you. You don't need to be so loud.
It's worse because Felicity has Mars and Venus in the bedroom. But she says the problem is it doesn't have a lot of pictures, and I'm a very visual person. Felicity, might I introduce you to the Kama Sutra? Maybe that is more of your taste.
I just think that she should just watch porn. That's how you learn how to do everything.
Well, yes, but as we discussed, this is the 90s, so I don't know how much she could find. I mean, does she even have a computer?
She can borrow Noel's.
We do need to take a history lesson because this came up on Buffy as well, where like internet porn is, yes, it's a thing at this point, but it is not as advanced as being easy to access as you two are making it out to.
I don't agree because I watched the Pam and Tommy thing movie, and that video was very available very quickly.
I don't know the specifics on that one.
As a teenage boy, I can tell you.
Yes, I can tell you it was not as easy as just as it is now.
Yeah, and the problem is listen, Felicity is being a lot in this scene, but the clerk is like also, I don't know, being the most helpful. Like she's just like, oh, do you know how good it feels? And Felicity's like, well, no, that's the point. I'm a virgin. And the clerk's like, no, it's a book.
That was funny. I mean, like that was a very funny play on words. And eventually she settles on purchasing the book Gimme an O.
And the clerk says page 46 is really something.
I want to know what's on page 46 so bad.
So I did some research.
What's on page 46, Tom?
Well, so here's the thing. I looked into Gimme an O, and I couldn't. The book. This is a fictional book.
Devastating. Because
the only Gimme an O I could find was written in 2005 by Kayla Perrin. Has nothing at all to do with Felicity. It's a
Does that do with orgasms
novel.
though?
So it's the story of a football player who he has a prenup with his wife. I mean, do you want the whole book report?
Of course. So, yes, please.
He's a football player, quarterback for the Oakland Raiders.
Wait, the Raiders are now in Las Vegas.
Gimme an O.
Yes.
Oakland Raiders.
They are now, but they were in Oakland at the time. And his wife is Ginger, and him and his wife have a prenup where if he cheats on his wife, he has to pay her $5 million.
Hell yeah!
And
I love a prenup.
There's a photograph that goes around with him sort of by a woman of the night, sex
Woman
worker.
of the night, Tom.
Yeah. Do you mean a prostitution
No,
whore?
sex worker.
Sex worker, yes.
Okay. Not
so
a
that comes out,
prostitution
and
whore.
so Ginger is filing for a divorce, and he's gonna have to pay her $5 million.
Yes.
So he decides he's going to kidnap the sex therapist, Dr. Love, who she has just written this book called The Big O, and he's going to get the sex therapist to convince his wife to take him back. And the sex therapist is like, I should just call the police.
There's a
I shouldn't.
kidnapping in this book?
Yeah, well, kind of.
Hold on. Is this available on Libby?
Sarah wants to read.
Well,
Yeah, you can. Hold on. Can I request this book? Okay, what
How
else?
long
Tom?
is it? How many hours on Libby?
it's like 300 pages, maybe 400.
That's not too bad.
And the sex therapist is like, I should just call the police on this guy. I shouldn't go with him. But there's a twist. Can you guess what the twist is?
Is the sex therapist in love with him?
Not, I don't know. That's a little strong. The twist is this football player is very hot, and so even though she's like,
How's this a twist, Tom? I assumed that.
Well, and so they go off and they sort of have adventures and hijinks, and at some point, Ginger, the wife, kills this Russian mobster.
What? Why is there a Russian mobster in the book?
Jess,
this is incredible. Tom, I appreciate all of the hard work and research you did for Gimme an O.
Thank you. See, I'm not just a pervert.
That was a pervert. You could have said I'm not a pervert, and instead you said I'm not just a pervert.
I brought something to the table for this podcast.
My God.
Yeah, you can't get the whole book on Libby. You can just get a sample.
Well, you should get the sample and then report back, Sarah, if it's good.
It's not very good.
How far did you read this book?
I read all of it.
Wait, how did you read all of it?
Look, I thought you had like read a wiki synopsis.
It's on Kindle.
What do you mean it's on
Thomas.
Google? They released the whole PDF.
Kindle.
Kindle.
Oh, Kindle.
Oh my God, Tom, that is you did too much, Tom. You did too much.
Not enough, because you could have done a dramatic reenactment.
For a podcast.
I don't know how I would have done a dramatic reenactment of the story.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. All right. No. Anyway, getting back to Felicity. So yeah, she gets Gimme an O. And then we go to Ben and Sean's apartment, and Sean is unhappy because there is a toothbrush, and it is Julie's toothbrush, and he says there's a rule, no live-in girlfriends. And Ben says, well, Julie's not my girlfriend. And Sean says, well, she has a toothbrush here, and that means she's your girlfriend. That's what that means. Sarah, where do you fall on this argument?
True statement.
Yeah, I kind of agree with this. Yeah.
Yeah. If you start leaving stuff at people's houses, then that means that you're more than just hooking up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tom, what do you think?
No, I agree. And so, like, my question is this a rule because, like, now he wants Julie to pay some of the rent? Like, what's... like, why is this like a rule that
I mean, Sean seems like someone who would nickel and dime a bit, because we'll talk later about like the whole laundry situation, but Sean puts this in a very crass way where because Ben is saying, listen, she's had a rough couple months, I'm just like helping her out, and Sean calls Julie a real estate investment where you buy an inexpensive piece of land and you know you're going to build on it eventually when the value goes up, but you take your time. He just called Julie damaged goods, and I don't like that.
Wait,
essentially.
Damn it. Oh, I didn't get, I guess it's kind of...
He says an inexpensive piece of land. He didn't call her like a luxury apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, like, honestly, I mean, like, I guess like the other, like a fixer-upper type of situation, that's what you can call it. Yeah, it's like a little rude, but I feel like, I don't know, at least eventually she could be valued very highly. That's nice. It's kind of like a she's all that type of thing. You gotta just like take off the glasses and straighten the hair, and then all of a sudden you're a hot girl.
Is he just describing friendship though? Like, is
Well,
that
that's the thing? Like, isn't that all? Like, don't we all put a lot of work into it for the end goal to be like your significant other for life? Or
yes, but usually people don't phrase it in terms of like, I'm putting in the work now to reap the benefits later. Like, Ben is just trying to be a good friend, and Sean is making it seem like Ben is trying to like work Julie over time so that eventually he can have her. Like, the way Sean puts it is like a little off-putting and creepy. And then Julie shows up, and she talks to Ben about this whole situation. She says, like, I think I have to tell Felicity, like, I felt so awful and awkward this morning not saying anything. And Ben is like, what, are we not gonna hang out because like Felicity's feelings are gonna be hurt? And she says, no, I just wanna be honest. And Ben says, okay, well, you should tell her then. And I like, listen, I felt for Julie here. I feel like she hasn't had a good time of it lately. And I think that, Tom, she's really afraid of losing Felicity's friendship or, you know, with this whole Ben situation. And I think she likes being friends with Felicity, but she also likes hanging out with Ben. And she's afraid of doing anything that's going to like rock the boat right now.
Yeah, it's messy. And I don't think it might not necessarily be a situation where she has to choose one or the other, but it's fairly close to being that. Like, there's like, even like Felicity has like a fairly positive reaction at the end of this episode, and she's with Noel, so it seems like everything's okay, but at the back of your head, I think
I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah.
I think Felicity has grown. I'm really happy for her. She's moved past this.
We'll see. I mean, I think she's gonna lose her mind in a matter of episodes. Yeah. But for now, she's having a great time because turns out Noel donated blood recently, and in order to donate, you have to be HIV negative. And he's like, and I haven't had sex since then, so I am medically safe sex material, baby. How sexy is that, Sarah?
I mean, being clean is very sexy. I think that's very sexy.
Can I tell you what's not sexy?
What's that?
Pulling out your planner and being like, hey, when do you want to fuck?
Oh, okay. So this is so bad. And I remember like this was something that my therapist suggested to me once. And I was like, I can't schedule sex. It's just so not sexy. It's so painful. And like, I feel as though like these two should not be doing this. It's bad enough when like couples that have been together for like 500 years have to do this, but a young couple,
Okay. On the flip side, I think pretty much everything Felicity does is sexy to Noel at this point. As you can, and I think he sees that planner and he's like, oh, she actually wants to do this. And Felicity's Felicity. Felicity's gonna Felicity. And
yeah,
that's true.
He doesn't care. Like, any way he gets sex, he doesn't care. And I love them flipping through days. And it's so funny to me because it's like, okay, Felicity, I'm just gonna say this is not gonna take very long. Like, you don't need that much time to set aside. But she's like, oh, sorry, I have a lecture this day, I have a lab this day, I'm working this other day. He's like, oh, well, can't you just tell Javier all the juicy deets and he'll get someone else to schedule for you? And she's like, absolutely, yes, let's do that. And she writes in her planner, no sex. Not even a code word. Like, girl, we all have been like putting a red marker on our planners for years to like show we have our period on this day. You can do like a code word, ma'am. You don't need to like blatantly write no sex in your planner.
Actually, this is a great idea. Hold on one sec. Let me do some research.
I don't want to know what your research is. She has, okay, for the listeners, Sarah gets a look on her face sometimes, and she has the look right now that she is like gonna either troll me or tell me something I don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Jess, do you think Adam's about to like pop up in the back of the screen like with
No, Adam's in Indianapolis
with a list of every time they've had sex recently?
Oh, I have that.
No,
do you want
need that? No, thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
Wait, hold on. Do you want it, Tom?
I don't know. It would be weird if I said yes. Can you put the list though?
I
Yeah,
have
let's
it
move, let's
marked
move,
in
let's
my
move.
calendar. Yeah.
Yeah, we're 40 minutes into the podcast and not even halfway through the episode.
Let me live.
Listen, you live as much as you want, but I don't need to live in the place that you live.
I just assumed Sarah was gonna put that into her shared calendar with Adam, like sex, and then Adam was gonna like message and be like, wait, what?
What's
Yeah,
going
I
on?
need to send him a calendar invite.
There you go. We have a meeting. We have a meeting tonight. And I love Felicity saying, like, just let me know if you need to reschedule. And Noel, again, being like, it was cute and it was funny, but again, a little too much, where he's just like, I can guarantee that's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Add yes. Better not send it to his work email.
Oh my God.
So I haven't had this exact conversation, but I definitely have had the conversation where I've like asked someone out and they're like, oh, well, I'm busy that day. And so I'm like, well, what about the next day? Oh, no, you're busy that day. Well, what about the next day? Because just for anyone listening, if you want to get out of a date, don't say you're busy. Just say you don't want to do it. Because if you just say you're busy, the guy will like just be like, oh, well, what about the next day then?
Yeah. Sometimes you don't, subtlety is not great. You need to actually be blunt about it. And so Felicity listen, we love a prepared queen, okay? I love this move from Felicity. She goes to the health office. She's trying to get some like birth control pills, and immediately she knows her fucking facts, where she's just like, yes, the pills are great against pregnancy, but they're not good against sexually transmitted diseases. And so the guy's like, okay, great, here are some condoms. And he has like, I've never heard of a health office having like mint flavored condoms available.
Oh yeah. No, this was like, he pulls out like a tea box. Have you ever seen a tea box that they do? So that he brings out a tea box with like all these different condoms, and tons of options. Ribbed, we got latex, lubricated,
ribbed for her pleasure.
Yeah, the spermicidal condoms for extra.
I remember that from Trojan, it being like ribbed for her pleasure.
The ones that are like fire and ice.
I don't think, listen, I don't want icy hot anywhere near my genitals. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So she has so many options. My thing is that this so felt like an after school special on safe sex.
Well, yeah, because he even shows her how to put it on.
It was like very obvious that that's what this was supposed to be. And it was just like a smidge obnoxious, because I just felt like it took us out of it, because it just was so obvious that Carrie Russell was told to like make sure you say these exact things, because teenagers are going to be watching this and we want to give them good information. But then again, it's very good that these shows are doing this and advocating for safe sex. It's just like a little hokey for me.
Yeah, listen, we want to make sure kids learn this information. Like, they should be learning it from their parents. If they don't learn it from their parents, they should be learning it from the school. And if they don't learn it from their school, they're going to learn it from this episode of Felicity. Like, one way or the other, they're going to get this information.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Felicity is like leaving the health office, and she bumps into Julie, who's like on her way in to see the counselor. And again, according to Julie, she was going to counselor and then talk to Felicity. So she's a little bit taken aback. But Felicity immediately is just like, oh, it's about sex. We're going to fuck. Noel and I are going to fuck. And I just wanted to talk to the health guy. And Julie's like, oh, that's so great. And Felicity's like, yeah, I didn't know if I should mention it to you because of the whole Zach thing. But Julie's like, no, of course not. Like, you should definitely talk to me. This is like such a great thing. I'm so happy for you. And Julie's like, okay, like I got to run. And again, it's like, especially because Felicity's like, oh, I feel so terrible not telling you everything. And it's like, ugh. But I guess, I don't know, Sarah, part of me feels a little like sympathetic towards Julie, because if she's running late for an appointment, this really does feel like a conversation you kind of want to like sit down and have like time blocked off for it. You know what I mean? It's not something you want to like say to something as you're passing them by on the street.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be advocating for Julie throughout this entire episode, because it was just a losing game at this point. Like, first and foremost, she does not have to ask permission from Felicity to have a relationship with Ben. It is ridiculous. Her and Ben met separate from Felicity, and also they hit it off separate from Felicity. Felicity never dated Ben. They're barely friends. Well, they are friends, but they're barely friends. Anyway, she doesn't need to ask for permission. It is a courtesy for her to tell Felicity. And I just feel so bad that Julie feels like so guilty about hooking up with Ben when Felicity has no ownership over Ben. Now, furthermore, I also want to say that yeah, you're right. Like, it's not the right time. And there's times where she did want to talk about it, but then she was told by Felicity's boyfriend not to say anything. So it's like, what's a Julie to do? It's a losing game at this point.
Mm-hmm. Sarah, do you wish you were friends with Julie instead of me and Jess? Because
yeah, maybe.
When Felicity comes to Julie and is like, I'm about to go have sex, I feel like me and Jess were like, well, we don't really need to hear about that, Sarah. Where Julie was like, oh, awesome. Like, is that would you have preferred that?
To be fair, Felicity is about to lose her virginity, not have sex for the billionth time.
No, I would love to. I would, if my friends told me, well, actually, me and my friend Michelle, we talk about it, and I'm always like rooting her on all the time. Like, go you. Have a good time.
As Adam would say, go forth and fuck.
No, I said that.
I thought Adam said it.
No,
whatever. He was there when you said it.
Don't steal my quotes for me. I have one thing in life is that I have,
you have one thing.
Is one thing is
your one thing.
Quotable quotes, and just don't take it from me. Yes, of course. Like, I would love for you guys to tell me, and not for nothing. Like, behind the scenes, I get more information from Jessica than one would assume. Thank you.
There you go. Julie's hat is hideous, but we can slide right past that. Noel is doing sit-ups as like this guy is here trying to fix his computer. He says, I've never done a sit-up in my life, except for when I thought I might score, which is so pathetic.
That is pathetic.
It's pathetic. Like, what does Noel think is going to happen? He's going to do like 10 sit-ups and his abs are just going to pop out?
So
yeah.
I don't really have the figure that this would work, but for the people who do have like abs, you do like a quick workout, you can get some definition on there. Is my understanding.
Really?
Like, I think when actors are filming like actual sex scenes, I do think they do some sit-ups like right before.
Wow.
This is the thing. I have no personal knowledge, but I think it might be a thing.
Yeah. Julie decides now's the perfect time to pick Noel's brain about this whole situation. And she immediately strikes fear in the heart of Noel when she says it's about Ben and Felicity. And Noel's like, no, my worst fears have come true. They're fucking.
This guy is such a loser in this
He's
moment.
such a simp for Felicity.
Yeah, he's like, just tell me and like break the news. Are they hooking up? And Julie's like, no. I have to ask you about Ben and me and Felicity. And she explains that she is actually seeing Ben. They are seeing each other. They are they be chilling, right, Jess?
Yeah, they be chilling. They're hanging out a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, they be chilling and hanging out a lot. And basically she's like, I want to tell Felicity. And Ben, I mean, I do this every episode. Noel like legitimately tells her not to say anything. He's like, don't fuck this up for me, because I want to have a stress-free day fucking Felicity, and I don't need you ruining this for me. And he encourages her to keep it a secret. So once again, this is fully and completely Noel's fault.
Yeah. I totally agree. Like, he's just like, listen, I think Felicity has moved past Ben, and Julie agrees because she heard about them, you know, like, oh, they're gonna have sex. But Noel says, okay, but just in case, because the fear is so real, please do not tell her right away, because that's gonna fuck everything up. Which, like, listen, I kind of get it from Noel's perspective, but also at the same point in time, you shouldn't be having sex with Felicity if you think she's not over Ben anyway. Like, you shouldn't be moving forward in your relationship if you truly don't think that she's over Ben. So, like, I don't know. But I will say, before we get Tom's opinion, I will say I did love hearing more from Julie about like what exactly is going on with her and Ben. Like she said, like, I just went over there and I can't sleep. And so I went over there and he was so kind and we just talked. And now I've just been sleeping over there. And I thought like that was so freaking sweet of Ben to just be there for her as like a true friend. And Sarah, you know me, I love nothing more than a friendship that evolves into a romance. And so I was very much on board with this whole thing. But Tom, what do you think of this whole situation?
Okay. So again, I'm just in Noel's head, and in his head, because he doesn't foresee what's about to occur. He thinks right now he's on track to have sex with Felicity, and he's like, I don't think this will derail it, but like this is a variable, and we don't need any variables right now. This is something we can deal with after.
He's like, she already broke a planner out. We can't reschedule. It's like, in pen.
So now you're saying he shouldn't have sex with. The thing is, he's gonna have.
If he really thinks that, if he really is that insecure about if Felicity is still hung up on Ben, taking their relationship forward feels like it's only gonna hurt him more if she ends things because she like is still obsessed with Ben.
Yeah, but like, it's just, I think the insecurity about her and maybe you're just saying that the Felicity Noel relationship it doesn't work at all, but I just think the insecurity
it does be there if she's over Ben, which we'll talk about because like it's a little bit of a iffy question mark, I think. But Elena's sex advice to Felicity is kind of unhinged, and I kind of love it. Where she's like, "Oh, listen, Elena, I know you fucked a lot." And so we need to like, I need advice.
I don't think she says a lot.
Oh, she says she has experience, is what she says.
Experience, yeah.
But she says, I'm a slow starter. And Elena's advice is be the ball. Focus on the ball. And Felicity asks, which ball are we talking about? The right or the left? Which one?
So she means like just focus on the task, right? Like don't let extra factors creep into your head. Actually, this is great advice. Yes, it is, because a lot of women have problems like orgasming and enjoying sex because they're too much in your head. I say make every single little thought in your head evaporate from your brain and just focus on the pleasure, and you will have a much better time. Just let those thoughts evaporate. You don't care. There is no such thing as what's for dinner tonight. There is no such thing at what your boogers are looking like at the moment. Like, people are just they're just so in their head. Like, just let every single little thought in your pretty little head evaporate and just focus on the ball. I agree. I think this is good advice.
I think it's bad because she tells her to treat it like a chemistry final. Like, I think the problem with this advice from Elena is she's like, take control right away, keep it going, eye on the ball. And it's very like aggressive and blunt and to the point. And I think it probably would have benefited her to say like, take your time, ease into it, don't rush things, Tom. You can see how Felicity can misconstrue this advice.
Yeah. Do you remember the episode of Downton Abbey where Lady Mary had sex with a guy and they killed him?
And he died. Yeah, that was like one of the best episodes. I couldn't believe it. She fucked him to death. It was great.
Yeah, I think Elena's gonna kill some people. That's that was scary.
She uses her vagina as a weapon.
Like that's very intense. I don't think very many guys will be able to keep up with that. I just it was very, very intense. Everything Sarah said made sense. I just think what Sarah's describing is different than this, because this is.
Oh, am I interpreting it in my own way and actually giving good advice?
I think so.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good for me.
The good advice she does give her.
Yeah. Sarah's was like, enjoy it. And Elena's advice is get this done. You are on a mission.
Yeah, get this over with as quick as possible.
to seek and destroy.
Yeah.
Destroy.
But she does give her good advice in terms of like, oh, and sexy lingerie is good. And so Felicity has the most awkward conversation on the phone with someone from Victoria's Secret.
Do you guys want to help me pick out some Valentine's Day lingerie?
No.
Oh, okay.
People can't hear, but Tom is shaking his head no.
I'm sorry, Sarah. Once again, this is maybe a scenario where Julie would be a better friend for you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Michelle. You people are hopeless.
There you go.
Yeah, I will say this does remind me of a plot in Gimme and O where one of the hijinks they are is at some point Dr. Love needs new outfit, and up until this point she's been wearing like this very uptight, very like formal clothes, but then the football player buys her an outfit that is like just like a very, very short mini skirt and a thong, and she's like, what, you expect me to wear this? But then the twist is that she actually enjoys wearing it.
Wow.
So that's
also her name is Dr. O for Gimme
Dr. Love.
Dr.
Love, sorry. That's incredible. So then, speaking of Gimme an O, Felicity, like Megan walks in on this whole situation and she sees Gimme an O and she's like, oh my God, this was my favorite book in 8th grade. Did you check out page 46?
Rip. Yeah. Basically calling her an amateur, but also she told her that everybody already knows that her and Noel are going to have sex.
Yeah.
It is all around the block. Now, how did she explain how it got around? She said that the male person told her. How did the male person find out?
I mean, Noel's not being particularly subtle. He's telling people he's been tested for STDs and he's like clean.
Felicity's going around yelling it.
Okay.
Yelling about it.
She was in the bookstore yelling, I want a sex book because I'm about to have sex.
Okay, so it's just getting around real quick. And
honestly, I think Felicity, I feel like the best way, because she asked Elena for advice, right? I think she should take advice from Megan to kind of pool the general information, you know? But she's like, no, Megan, you fucking suck. I hate you. You probably are into like BDSM. No, thank you. Goodbye. Felicity's very judgy of Megan.
Sex shame.
And so you just said that was very obvious what was on page 46?
No, we want to know. We
want to know.
I don't know.
Oh.
I assume it was all about like the clit or something.
Maybe it was a sexual position.
Could be.
But she's such as a visual learner, so it's definitely a picture of
it's
whatever
a picture.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like how how to like give a blowjob or something, like something educational.
Yeah, the thing is, the people who everyone who seems to like really enjoy page 46 is a woman, so it seems like it's something that like.
Oh, okay.
For the woman.
That's why I was thinking it was about like a clit or like the female orgasm or like something like that. Yeah. But Felicity has no time for shenanigans. Noel has lit some candles. Felicity goes in and
we need to stop there. We
need to
stop. Yeah, the candles. All right.
Okay, please. Yes.
And I know that there are a lot of pro candle people out there, and like you're 100% right. Candles are great. They're very romantic. They're very they smell wonderful. But you just need to know yourself, and you need to know: are you the type of person who, at some point, is going to knock this candle over and start a fire?
Well, the problem is, I don't know that open flames are even allowed in dorm rooms.
Yeah, this is a recipe for disaster, and
especially because it's right next to the super dead tree.
And and like no, you were on a mission. You were like, there are going to be no variables. I don't understand how you decide to light a candle. This is something. Just you fucked this up, Noel.
I think it's better in theory, the candle thing, but you're right. I think that it's just more harm than it's worth. Maybe like dim the lights. I don't know. Are you a lights off person or a lights on person?
You gotta specify who you're asking here, Sarah.
Either or.
Neither of us is gonna volunteer to answer that one.
You people.
I think it depends on the occasion, but like probably lean lights off.
Okay.
Lights on.
Lights on.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Or like a dim light situation can be nice.
Dim lights. Yeah. What
Not
about
like an overhead light though. That's just like very harsh.
those
Yeah,
some
it
people
shouldn't
have
be like
those
bright,
yeah,
but,
those
like-
like LED lights that like you can change to whatever color, you know?
I think I'm more into like those like fake candles that like
Yes.
give that flicker effect. But
Sure.
then they're like really just LED.
Okay.
Things, you know?
All right, very nice. So we got our candles. We got our dead Christmas tree.
You did not answer. Did you say lights off or lights on?
I like both.
Okay.
But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the occasion, I think.
Yeah. It depends on the occasion. But
yeah, Felicity barges in here. Like, honestly, she gave me like Terminator vibes. She like she's almost robotic. So she's like, hey, can I come in? And then she just immediately attacks like Noel and is like just so extra. Like she rips his shirt off, she takes her shirt off, he fell on a hairbrush, which I'm like, who the fuck's hairbrush is that in his room? And then she like shoves him down, whips a condom out, and goes to pull his pants off, and he's just like, hold on, stop.
That's a little rapey, I'm not gonna lie.
It was very aggressive. And he's just like, I think we should like slow down. I need to catch my breath. And then some dudes just barge into his room without even knocking. She tries to hide herself behind him. She's like, you didn't lock the door. And he's like, you didn't even give me a second to lock the door. And then some punk knocks over the candle and this tree lights the fuck up instantly.
Because it's so dead and nobody watered it. And it is a major fire hazard. And wait, so who does go after and tries to save them? Because I thought
it's not Richard, it's some other guy. I don't know.
It was the guy who's like fuck setups. Earlier.
Oh, so he caused the fire and he put it out.
No, it was the other guy that caused the fire. Fuck setups guy was the guy who got I think.
Right.
Oh
crap! I just
and he was a volunteer firefighter in high school, is what he says. And then I love the other guy being like, doesn't it say we have to evacuate the building with fires? And I was like, yeah, we have to.
Man, way to ruin everything.
It was so awkward and funny. And
I laughed. I laughed really hard. I thought
I should have known when they put the candles and lit them next to the tree, but I just wasn't expecting a fire in this episode. And so it was so incredible when it happened.
The fire was very well foreshadowed, though, Jess. For the last 2 episodes, they've been like, "There's going to be a fire,"
and we've talked about it so much, but I never imagined it would actually happen. Well, it was incredible. I love it, and I gotta say, as much as it feels like so awkward for Felicity, and like she wants to just go like cocoon for life after this. This is going to be an incredible story to tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first time I tried to have sex, a Christmas tree got on fire.
You're right. This is a perfect podcast story that you can tell in the future.
Yeah. And the next day, Noel comes in and he tries to talk to Felicity. And she's just like, oh, I don't even know who that person was. Like, I feel so bad about it. Like, she's like, I just wanted to barrel through it, that we could just get it over with.
That's so bad. That's so bad. I'm surprised that Noel didn't put the kibosh on it, like, at this moment.
He's so fucking horny.
For her to be like, I just wanted to get it over with, I would be
Red
like...
flags.
Yeah. I would put the stopper on that. That is horrible.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Because I'm giving Noel a lot of slack because I very much understand his mentality, but I do think that I just wanted to get it over with is like one of those things that just like
it feels so bad, right? Yeah. Like that just feels so bad for somebody that you want to be intimate with to say, I just want to get it over with.
But I also think like it's totally understandable from the perspective of someone like who is a virgin and like wants to get it over with so that like the first time jitters are done and she could be a part of the crowd that's lost their V card, right? Like I think, you know, to give Felicity a little bit of grace here, like I understand the perspective she's coming from, but I also think Noel should have said, hey, if you're not ready, like we can wait. Like, that we don't have to rush this. But he wants to fuck her so badly that he's just like, listen, it just needs to be romantic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I would say, like, for Felicity, that should have been an inside thought and not an outside talk. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, what do you think of Noel's next move where he decides to book her a hotel room?
He's a man on a mission, Sarah.
Yeah.
And he's like, so this didn't work, so I'm going to try my next plan, which is a hotel room. And like, I think that's the right move because apparently he's an RA with an open door policy is what we've learned by the fact that everyone can just barge into his room. And yeah, I think, I mean, it's a fairly nice hotel room, I guess. The phone in the bathroom, I guess, is like a sign that this is
in the 90s, that was huge.
It's like high-end hotel. Yeah, I mean, I guess
I get like the privacy factor, right? Like, at least you're not going to have people barging in on you, especially because Noel is an RA, right? Like, this will allow you the privacy to have like a romantic night. But it also, unfortunately, results in Felicity needing to get the night off of work. And the only way she's going to do that, Sarah, is by telling Javier all the juicy deets.
I love it. So she goes to Javier and she's like, I need the night off. He's very resistant because it's a busy day at work today. And she admits to him, like, well, actually, he picks up on it, that she is ready to lose her V card. And he's like, well, I don't believe in premarital sex, but I will allow you to go if you tell me all the details, which I was very tickled by. Javier's so funny.
I love him so much. More Javier. Always more Javier. I know you hate that I don't like Richard, but I love Javier, and I think the general public agrees with me on that.
I don't know if they do, but okay.
What? If people don't like Javier, I will be devastated.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, because you like Javier, I don't think that like reassures the Richard crew and makes and is like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah, well, whatever. You win some, you lose some.
Correct.
I mean, the Richard crew still have some work to do, to be quite honest. We need to see more from Richard, and it needs to be something involving non-fire starting.
Yeah, fire safety class would be great for Richard to go through. He just generally
is safe with fire.
Oh my god. Well, at least we know that he knows what makes a good RA and what makes a bad RA. So he has that going for him. Julie and Ben are hanging out, and they have like a little cute moment where they're like studying together and they're talking about poetry, and they both agree that they like hanging out with each other, and it's a cute little moment.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry is so boring.
I can't get into it, but
Do you think Ben likes Walt Whitman because he likes Walt Whitman, or because he's studying with Julie instead of Felicity?
Probably. I don't know. What is Walt Whitman the one that talks about the path not taken? That was a good poem.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Okay, Jessica, you were an English major.
I didn't study poetry.
And I don't know what Tom's undergraduate.
No, that is by Harry Turtledove.
Okay. Oh. Well, I'm a huge fan of Harry Turtledove.
I will look. Walt Whitman. I mean, Walt Whitman's super famous. I think for me, the reason I know Walt Whitman's name is because of Breaking Bad. But Oh Captain, My Captain, I think is one of the more popular ones that I know of.
There's a mall in Long Island that's called the Walt Whitman Mall.
Wow.
Yeah.
They love Walt Whitman on Long Island.
They do. Well, they do. Yeah.
It's like Billy Joel and Walt Whitman, two faves. That's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I never met a Long Islander that doesn't love Billy Joel.
Yeah, that's like Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi for Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Felicity says, my parents never let me eat out of the mini fridge when we go to hotels. So my treat, this thing is fucking stocked. They had Coke. They had and the glass bottles. They had Nilla wafers. I saw Perrier in there. I think I even saw a Heineken, which I'm like, how the fuck did they get that? You can't even. How are you gonna get that? You're not 21. Tom, do you indulge in a mini fridge when you go in a hotel?
Huh? Really?
I don't think this is a thing anymore, really.
Yeah, I don't really, and I don't do hotels very much.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, with the invention of the Airbnb.
Yeah.
They don't. I don't really think that they do it. Like, even in Vegas, only the higher suites get mini fridges. So yeah, I think that this is a thing of the past, and I think that it has such a bad reputation now that people know, like, they know the thing, like, oh, if you take like a drink, it's gonna charge you up the wall. So I think that people don't indulge in the mini fridges anymore.
Generally, when I stay at a hotel, I'm staying at like a chain, like a Hilton or something, and like you get a mini fridge, but it doesn't have anything in it, so it's not even like an option to be able to eat the corn nuts or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're indulging in some Coca-Colas as they kind of like relax a little bit, which I like this move. Like, it's not immediately like, let's get naked and fuck. It's like, let's take our time. We have the whole night and we have this hotel room to ourselves. They should take a bath. You know, they could do just some nice chill things first.
This was a recipe for success. Now, where Felicity fucks up, they could have had a great night, but Felicity had to get like an extra factor. There was no way that, like, okay, if you want this to work, it has to be contained, a contained, isolated unit. You can't be calling third parties because it's only going to be bad news from there. What is Julie going to say? Like, I'm so excited for you. Like, be safe. Well, actually, that's a great thing to say. But anyway, what's Felicity looking for?
Can we pause for a second? Because I think this is the funniest moment of the entire episode. When Felicity calls Julie and goes, "Guess where I am?" and then flushes the toilet.
It's so good. She's like, "Oh, I'm in the bathroom at a hotel suite Noel got for us. Listen." And the worst part is, Tom, she tries to flush it again. She's like, "You want to hear it twice? Have you missed the sound of the toilet flushing? Let me do it again for you."
I mean, I get it. So she is really, really excited because the bathroom has a phone.
A phone, yeah. And this is the storyline in Friends too. Like, apparently this is like a big fucking deal when
wants this.
No one should be calling anybody from this phone. Do your fucking business and leave, and then call someone.
Is this like a lifeline thing? Like, if you are if you've fallen and you cannot get
the phone, it's on a cord.
Well, maybe you're falling. Like, I'm sure that Elvis, who died on the toilet, would have really loved a phone when he was dying, because then he could have called 911.
It's true. But what we need to really talk about, Tom, is the fact that Felicity is such a cock block, because Julie and Ben are saying goodnight and their faces are so close together. They get so close to kissing and the phone rings and interrupts them.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they had to have like one last wrinkle, because I mean, I really don't see any way Felicity could go to a hotel room with a phone in the bathroom and not call Julie and flush the toilet to be like.
And then, like, Julie feels so awkward about this because she so badly wants to tell Felicity what's going on, right? Like, you know, Sarah, that instantly you would want to tell your best friends, like, "Oh my gosh, Ben and I almost just kissed." Like, you would want to divulge that, but Julie really isn't able to. And yet, because she wants to and can't, like, Felicity can recognize that there's something off with Julie.
Yeah. And I think it's because, like, Julie, like, feels like very bad that she can't share it. And once again, I think that Julie does the right thing. Like, it's not.
How's she gonna tell her right now? She's just about to fuck Noel. You can't.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess she could have made up like a lie, because like Felicity, like, could tell something was up, and like Julie was like, "No, it's like nothing. It's like not a big deal."
What if she phrases it like this? What if she says, "I have great news. I'll tell you tomorrow. I want you to go have fun with Noel."
But it's not great news. That's a lie.
Well, it is for Julie, though.
Sure. Well, I guess. Yeah, like, she needed to phrase it differently, but this, obviously, like if I heard some apprehension in some voice and like somebody was like, yeah, I'll just like tell you later, like I feel like I would be like very honed in on that and be like, no, tell me now, what's wrong, like tell me now. And I think that like this totally killed the mood, because she goes back to Noel and tries to continue their fun night, but she's too distracted. And Noel, I don't know why Noel did this either, because he could have just like played dumb, but then he's like, actually, I know what's going on and she's fine, because she's hooking up with Ben. Why?
I think Noel, I don't know, Tom. You tell me what you think, but I think Noel is maybe like, Felicity's not going to drop this. Like, maybe if I just tell, I think Noel leads in with the like, no, Julie's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. But that just sparks Felicity's curiosity even more of like, oh, you talked to you've talked to Julie. Like, why? And Noel is like, maybe I could just slip this information in real quick and like, then we can fuck. I don't know what he's thinking in this moment.
Yeah, it's a bit self-destructive. And I get telling Julie to not tell Felicity until after, but I do think there's probably also a part of him that's like, maybe I feel guilty about that, and maybe there's just a part of him that's like, I want to see Felicity's reaction when she's like, I want to get the
so toxic.
It is, but I definitely think that's true though. I think he wants to say it to her, and he wants to see her reaction, because if Julie tells her, he's not going to get the insta reaction. He's going to get the contained, prepared like reaction. So I don't know. He says like, oh, they're hanging out together. Like they've been spending time together. Felicity asks how much time, which is like, I don't know. Noel's like, oh, every night. And Felicity just keeps asking questions, right? She's like, oh, when did you find out? And she's like, wait a minute. You've known since yesterday that Julie and Ben, and she says, we're having an affair. And I was like, Sarah, this wording is awful. Like, there's no affair. There's no cheating. They're both single.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so messy. And this like makes Noel freak out, which makes Felicity freak out. They kind of just like scare each other off. And it's done. Like it's cooked. Like it's ruined. Their perfect night is ruined. It's very depressing, because I think that they could have had a very, very good night if they just unplugged the phone.
Yeah, and Tom, like, listen to Sarah's point earlier, I understand Felicity saying, like, this is so weird that, like, you and Julie kept this secret from me. Like, I just had a big talk with her yesterday and told her how much I value her. And then, but she didn't say anything about this to me. So, like, you can kind of see Felicity's perspective. But then Noel hits her with it's because she knows the truth, that you're still obsessed with Ben. And I don't know. Like, Tom, I want to know what you think of Felicity's reaction to knowing that Ben and Julie went to Vermont together.
You know, I think I'm actually... So the word affair is like one of those things that makes me cringe, because it's like, it's not an affair. Like neither one of them is in a relationship, and like the way I think it's like slipping out that in her mind Ben is hers. Like that's sort of how she like that's how she views it. At the same time, like she did have feelings for Ben, and I don't like necessarily think there's anything wrong with like being bothered somewhat that Ben is with someone else. Like I like even if you're with someone and you're happy with someone, like and you see your ex with someone else and you're bothered, I don't necessarily think that means like you're not happy with your person. It just
that's true.
There's like resonance of your past feelings.
Yeah,
it feels weird. It's just like it's like a weird feeling, because like you don't really. It's not like you totally want to be with that person, but it's just like, oh, like their life is moving on without me. Like it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like there's like this feeling of like, what was my impact on you? Like, do you miss me? Like, I guess you don't. Like, it kind of hurts your ego a little bit. Or like maybe Felicity's thinking like, oh, like maybe there's like you know, I don't know, like it feels like some sort of a rejection.
Well, and I think there's something to like Felicity being the last to like get this information. And I also think there's something to Felicity feeling like, wow, no one told me, because they all thought I was still obsessed with Ben, which is a commentary on my relationship with Noel and how people like obviously don't think we're like good together if they think I'm still obsessed with Ben. Like, I think there's also a part of Felicity that is like concerned with the way her friends see her and why they didn't give her this information. So I don't think it's as simple as like she's still into Ben. Like, there's so many other reasons that Felicity could be upset here. But I do also have to say, because I haven't said it this episode, Carrie Russell's acting in this episode is so good. Like, she's so good at being like awkward. Like, even the point when she walks out of the bathroom and she like joins Noel on the bed is like so awkward and funny. And her face when he tells her about Julie and Ben going to Vermont together is so good, because it's so perfectly like she's obviously bothered, but you cannot tell what she's bothered by exactly. Like, you don't have an exact definition for what's bothering her. But of course, Noel reads it as, I knew it. Like, I knew you were still obsessed with Ben. Like, I knew you're not over him, because that is his worst nightmare. Again, bringing me very much back to the love triangle of the Pacey, Joey, and Dawson. You know, it very much brings me back to that, where it's like his deepest fear and insecurity that she is still like obsessed with Ben. And so he can't take it and he leaves. And it's really sad that their night gets ruined in this way.
Yeah, it really is, because it could have just, it's so preventable. And also, like, there's just like a lot of assumptions going on. So it just feels frustrating on all fronts. And I don't know, like, I just think that Noel just is way too in his head. Like, I really do think that Felicity is, really into him, and like they need to just be enjoying each other. But I also think that they put way too much pressure on this sex thing. So it was definitely set up to fail.
Yeah. And I also just, there's also a part of it, and I think this is sort of how the episode wraps up. Like, I do think Felicity's also kind of self-sabotaging this a little bit, because I think that at least what the episode is trying to portray is she's not actually really ready to have sex with Noel. Like, I think that's what they're trying to say. Like, she's having sex for a reason, which is, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's like a terrible, or it's a reason you can like sort of understand. Like, you want to feel like you're part of it, and like there's this pressure. But like, the reason she's having sex with Noel is not because she necessarily like is really excited to have sex with Noel. She's having sex with Noel because she wants to no longer be a virgin, which is maybe not the reason she should be. But like, I mean, I don't necessarily know to pass judgment on that, but I think she's sort of also sort of self-sabotaging too, which is why she has a reaction to this, and maybe why she wouldn't let the Julie thing go. Because if she had just let the Julie thing go and like progress it, like they could have just had sex. And so I think that's maybe why she sort of forced the issue.
Okay, so switching things over to Julie and Ben. Julie goes over to Ben's apartment. Apparently she left a bunch of laundry there. Ben's like, oh, don't worry about it. We could just use Sean's washer and dryer. Just don't tell him about it. Because he's already freaking out about the toothbrush. But they have this whole conversation, and I love how open Julie is with Ben about like, I had this conversation with my counselor, and like she said, if I like you, like I should take things slowly and do what I want. And they both agree. Like, the other night, we really wanted to kiss each other and we didn't. And I really loved this moment, and they kiss, and it's so sweet.
Very sweet. I do like them together, and I like that she's being open. I think that, I mean, I'm really happy that she's going into therapy, especially after the trauma that she experienced. And I think it's like really good communication that they're able to openly talk together. It like really is a promising start to a relationship, which is fabulous.
Yeah. And I mean, these two have pretty much liked each other from the very beginning of the series, and like the only reason they haven't gotten together yet is because of Felicity causing drama. So
Felicity ruins everything.
Yeah, it is really cute. Then we get the best scene of the entire episode, and like, I'm so sorry, but when the song Everybody Hurts is on and Noel is just like, it reminds me of the scene from The Office where Michael Scott is like singing the I can't remember what the hell it is, but he's singing a song and he won't buy the song on iTunes. He just keeps listening to like the same sample over and over again. Noel just singing Everybody Hurts is just everything. I've never been more convinced that he's a Pisces in my entire life.
He's in his like sad boy music era, and he just doesn't want anybody to interrupt him, and he gets interrupted.
Yeah, Elena has no time for this bullshit.
Yeah, well, first, real quick, what is your sad song? What is your I'm depressed, I'm gonna listen?
So, I mean, the song You're Losing Me really hit hard in 2023.
Who sings it?
Taylor Swift.
I figured, but
okay,
you know,
yeah,
I had to make sure.
I'm pretty like I mean, like I've talked about this song a lot, maybe not here, but it was essentially like a mirror into my previous relationship, and it really helped me like move forward from it. And also, but in my heyday, like I would have, so it didn't get like released on streaming, and like the only way I had access to it was a CD that I got at the Taylor Swift concert. So it would only be I would only listen to it in my car, but like I would like go on like 40-minute drives and just like listen to that song on the CD, and I would just like go back. It was really bad. And eventually, like funnily enough, like Adam, who was like my friend at the time, he was like, we gotta wean you off this song. Like he was like, it is not good for you. So he was like, we're only allowed to listen to the song like 3 times today, and eventually it worked. So that is definitely was my sad song of 2023. And then also, I mean, I have a billion because I just have like so many sad songs, but also like Billie Eilish's song, When the Party's Over. That's also was like a sad song in my sad song era. I have a lot of sad songs. I have a playlist that's called, it's about like all with sad songs. I could share that one day. Lots of sad songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably unsurprisingly, I don't have a like sad song that I go to. I don't. The thing is, Sara is much healthier in terms of like her recognizing her sadness and leaning into it for the relief of it all. I live by the avoidant strategy, where if I just don't look my sadness in the face, it doesn't exist. So I'm generally attempting to lean away from the sadness, not lean in. But I will say, like, songs that like make me sad or like put me in that mood. I would say this past year, certainly Billie Eilish's "What Was I Made For," which is like from the Barbie movie, is like haunting in a way, and I think also resonates a lot with specifically with women, and I really, really love that song. But then like an old school one, I'm just looking up who originally sang it because it's been covered a zillion times. The song "Hallelujah" by Leonard Cohen is like, I think, the most beautiful song I've ever heard, and there's something about that song that also like puts me in that funk. But I don't have a go-to sad song because generally I'm trying to avoid the sadness that is following me. So I don't know, Tom, what about you?
Exile. And yeah. I think I've told her this because she's like,
who is the singer? Who's the singer of Exile?
It's Taylor Swift and Bon Iver.
Oh, okay, got it.
There's also a YouTube video with a lot of sad moments that has some sort of like piano music, but I'm not actually sure what the song is called.
Yeah, you're weren't you watching like the Pacey and Joey edit of Exile like on repeat for a while?
Yeah.
That was a thing.
That's
yeah,
funny.
it definitely was a thing, yes.
It's
but
okay.
I do think Everybody Hurts is like a really great sad song. I have to
It's
say.
up there.
Like,
It
Noel's
works very
killing
well.
it. Yeah, but Elena is like, no, man, you're not gonna wallow. I need advice. Is this a skirt? How does this look? Why does people go to Noel with these ridiculous problems?
I think it's a skirt, right? She's
It
wearing
looked like
a
a skirt. It looked like
Anything
a skirt.
can be a skirt if it's a skirt.
Except she immediately goes to Blair and he's like, that's a headband. It's for your hair.
Yeah.
It's not a skirt.
Very embarrassing.
But she pulled it off.
She did. But I love her saying, now I'm standing in the cafeteria with a headband around my ass.
Wow. It was rough. But it worked. It worked. Like I said, it kind of is a Survivor buff, so you can really do what you want with it, truly.
Yeah. Felicity confronts Julie. She says, Noel told me. And Julie's like, oh, I'm sorry. I know I should have won the one to tell you. I just thought you would freak out. And Felicity's like, I'm not going to. Like, she says, I've been holding on to this stupid crush for so long. I think I was scared to let it go. Like, if I did, I admitted that Ben and I were never going to get together and that somehow it would put everything into question. Which, what?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think I have one for this one.
Yeah. And it's like kind of awkward. And then like Ben walks up and Felicity's like, oh, you two sit together. I'm going to go actually like over here. Which is nice, I guess.
Yeah, and she uses that exact voice too. That, I'm going to go over here.
Yeah. And I think she's like, I got to go anyway. Like, take notes for me. I'm skipping class today.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, at least she's figured out her shit, I guess, for now. Good for her. I thought that she was like, they had a good conversation. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, at the very least, she's like trying to reassure Julie that, like, you know, I'm not like obsessed with Ben. And the fact that she goes to Noel is like a good sign of her like wanting to make things work with him. And so she does go to Noel, and Noel immediately like starts talking first. He's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I shouldn't have left you last night. Like, I know this is a big deal. Like, once we have sex, everything changes. So it has to be for the right reasons. And that you need to want to do this. And this is the speech I was hoping he would give pre-motel or hotel, where he says like, you know, I don't want you to have sex because it's something everybody's doing, but like, I don't want it to be a mistake. And I think it's going to be great, but like, I want us to work out long-term.
They're fine. They made it work. I think this is what you need to hear. They need to slow it down. You know, like do it for the right reasons, do it at the right time. Don't do it because everybody else is doing it. Like, they'll get there, assuming that they don't go like crazy on each other, which they probably will. But as long as they don't go crazy on each other, they'll get there. Right? Have to be.
Yeah, I think these couples are probably going to last the whole 4 seasons, and they won't be any are reconfiguring in any way.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm really glad that it's such like a stable, healthy. Everybody is in a stable, healthy relationship. That's phenomenal.
I love Noel saying, "I can't believe I just talked you out of having sex with me." That was really funny. And Noel says that Ben was like a bad habit, and they're difficult to get rid of. And then they call each other girlfriend and boyfriend, and they make out.
They're Facebook official now.
Yeah.
Before Facebook.
Yeah, this was the sweet moment that you said I love, and yeah, this got me. Her saying you're my first boyfriend, and it's very cute.
And then they go into the cafeteria and awkwardly have a double date with Julie and Ben.
Is it awkward?
I felt awkward, but I think they're okay with it.
Why is it awkward? They're fine. Everyone's fine.
Because it's just a little weird. I don't know. They're a little too smiley. Like, we're all so happy about this. Yay.
Yay. Everyone's fine and happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought they were good. Nothing.
And then Blair and Elena join them, and it's a 3 triple date.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, they all look happy at the end of the day, so good for them. I'm sure this happiness will last a very long time.
I mean, really, like, what do you think? Like, next episode, it's gonna blow up in their faces?
Probably.
Do we get one episode of them happiness?
2 episodes, maybe.
2 episodes.
Maybe,
okay.
I think.
All right. I would take it. If they're happy for 1 episode or 2 episodes, I mean, nothing could make me happier than our characters being happy.
Let's award a winner for Gimme a No. Who wins this episode?
Noel.
What? Why?
Because he almost didn't have sex. No, almost didn't have sex.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but just based on our reaction, it feels like of the 4 people involved, Noel kind of handled the Julie Ben situation the worst.
The worst, yeah.
Yeah, this is why my vote was going to be for Julie, who I think does try to do the right thing throughout the entire episode.
Yeah.
And is going to therapy, which we also love to see.
Yeah. Actually, I agree with that. I vote for Julie as well.
Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, Julie works. Honorable mention to Elena for rocking the headband as a mini skirt, which the fact that she pulls it off is great. And for the guys who can keep up with her, I think she has a very healthy and happy sex life, probably. There probably will be some dead bodies in her future, but
I hope not. I don't want her to be a murderer.
No.
I don't think it
might be manslaughter if it's accidental.
Okay, that's fine then.
Manslaughter. I think it's all just accidents.
Well, you're in the law, Tom, so you would know what this would be considered.
I mean, just everyone needs to be warned. She's the ball, and the ball
she has her eyes on the ball. Let's get into some feedback. We got a message from Lily, and she's catching up on our Felicity episodes, and she says there's a couple things she thinks that might be hindering our viewing. She said, number 1, parts of the show are absolutely a comedy. I also feel like it's very influenced by My So-Called Life, which she thinks we should cover.
I agree.
The color palette, the random side characters who pop up for a few comedic one-liners, then pop back out, the voiceovers, they're all very My So-Called Life. The show is not aiming to be Dawson's Creek. It's meant to be more grounded in reality, including having a more diverse group of people filling out the background with bizarreness and drama. So that's really interesting to hear. So who knows how prominent Richard will actually be, folks. Just saying. He could be an in and out kind of guy.
I do want to stick up for Dawson's Creek. Dawson's Creek was definitely meant to be funny at points.
Oh, yeah, but I definitely think it's more dramatic, right? Like, you're not supposed to laugh when Joey says, I could be sexual too, Dawson.
That was hilarious.
Which we did laugh at.
I don't know. I get what they're saying. I do think Felicity's maybe a bit more removed from it. Although I don't know. Dawson's Creek was pretty funny in my opinion. At points.
She also says, speaking of Felicity, she said, I don't think Felicity is supposed to be admired or a role model, but I do think she's meant to be painfully relatable. So every time she does something cringe, the writers are aware. She's that sheltered girl who feels too much and cannot maintain a cool facade. I also think the Carrie Russell of it all is impossible to understate. People love Felicity as a character because Carrie makes you feel every bad decision, every humiliation. She and Michelle Williams basically own that quote unquote amazing actress on the WB who played characters that made us go fetal from secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, that's so funny. I did hit a turning point with Felicity as a character after the Thanksgiving episode.
I agree.
I don't hate her. Like, I think that she is like, she definitely gets cringy, but I don't think that like she's like unbearable at one point. And like, I think that I think in this episode, she was like doing a really good job. Like, I think that she's being a good friend to Julie. I think that I do think that she's starting to be pretty endearing. And I also agree that like, if anybody was the problem in this episode, it was Noel. for various reasons. So I do think that I'm turning a corner with Miss Felicity. And I also think that like Carrie Russell is like super talented, like probably too talented to be on it. Well, I don't know. This
Well, apparently
like
she says she won a Golden Globe for season 1, which is like pretty interesting.
Yeah, I just watched Waitress, the musical, but also I watched the original movie, and she was phenomenal in that too. She's very talented, that Carrie Russell.
She is in The Americans, where she plays a Russian spy who does a lot of action scees, and I think her audition for that might have been the scene where she threw Noel down on the bed. And
yeah. She Lily also says she's extremely frustrating at times, but I think her cringe is meant to make you wince, and often they do want you to laugh at her and how much she overanalyzes and blows things out of proportion. In my mind, she's sort of the most entertaining aspects of Dawson, the melodrama and fail attempts at being a quote-unquote normal teenager, without the more infuriating ones, which are everyone propping him up as a hero and the most amazing arter who never has to face consequences when he messes up.
That's well, I mean, so true. Like that was so annoying. Like when we were, I mean, like the show Dawson's Creek it was their favorite thing to do was like make Dawson like their god, as well as Joey. Like that's just like they were always just like praising them at all times. I mean, I don't know, like Felicity. Felicity's Felicity. She Felicities.
I think it's interesting to compare her to Joey, especially because, like, when Felicity said, "You're my first boyfriend," it made me realize that by this point in Dawson's Creek, I think Joey had like 4 different boyfriends and had sex. And even though you spent so long talking about how she was kind of a prude, but like by this point, she was fucking.
Well, I think that the comparison is more to Dawson because they're, I mean, like always in their head, and I mean, like I don't know, maybe they're not.
She's an interesting mix between the two, like, because she's got Joey's brains, and then Dawson's sort of naive.
I'd give her most Dawson. She's most like Dawson, I think, of everyone. But thank you so much, Lily, for sending in that feedback. That was really interesting to read. Especially about like Carrie Russell and just how like acclaimed she was in this role at the time. We also got a voicemail from Temmie, so let's see what he had to say.
Hi, people. I haven't seen one of those yellow birth control tablet holders in a while. You should get one of those holders for your 90s snack taste test. This expired birth control tablet is yum. Love that for you, Sarah. Je suis désolé. I'm sorry. They removed the sexual orientation questions on the blood donation questionnaires from like the Red Cross. So I think that's relevant from this episode. And on an all-new episode of Hudson River Creek, Noel acts like Dawson when he's saying that this is the rehearsal. It's kind of like that, I think. And there are a lot of secrets with interesting reveals at different times in this episode. It's really like The Longest Day from Dawson's Creek, but it doesn't have season-long consequences. You know, maybe they should just end the show Felicity with that final montage. It's kind of like perfect, but that's too early, right? It would save us a lot of time and heartbreak. Sarah, do you still look forward to college shows in the same way that you did before watching Dawson's Creek and Felicity? Or do you have to get your Greek life fixed by watching Neighbors? Speaking of Dave Franco.
Sarah, do you want to answer that? Answer that question for me?
Okay, so like, yes, I really do wish that there was more Greek life in these shows. My favorite college show still, I think, is the show Greek, which I am obsessed with. That is it was an ABC Family show, and it was all about Greek life. And I think that they do like a really good job just showing like college life and Greek life. Neighbor, and also I do watch like a lot of sorority fraternity movies, and Neighbors is very fun. I watched both Neighbors 1 and 2 when we were just about to start covering Platonic on PSR. Because I was like watching like all of Seth Rogen's like Rolodex, and of course Rose Byrne was in that movie too. It was like the movie that they like I got to see their chemistry from those movies. So in terms of like, do I still like college shows? Yes. Do I wish there was more Greek life? Of course. So yes.
There you go.
Ranko. I don't know what the big deal is anyway. Just a giant thumb and a turtleneck. Whoop-de-doo. Still like to hear the answer, Sarah. Thanks. Bye.
That's from Dawson's Creek, isn't it?
Just a giant thumb
and a turtleneck. Whoop-de-doo. I think that's from Dawson's Creek.
What was it regarding?
A penis.
It's a penis.
Oh, okay.
It's a penis, a thumb and a turtleneck.
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. Sorry,
Yeah. And Temmie also let us know that apparently in Bob Odenkirk's memoir, he mentioned that
I think that it's a Community quote, Jess.
Oh, you know, I
Annie
knew it was
says
from
it.
something. Yes, that's Annie who says that. That's right. Because she's talking about penis and she's like, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
I can hear it now.
That did not sound like a Joey line.
I thought it was a Jen line or something. I don't know what I was thinking.
That definitely doesn't sound like a Jen line.
But anyway, so Temmie also said that apparently J.J. Abrams was really good friends with the people who play Sean and Megan, which is interesting. And then
Greg Grunberg, who is the pilot in Lost.
Yes. And then we also got a voicemail from DBK, so let's see what he has to say.
What up, though, ladies? Okay, maybe I already sent in my voicemail for this week, but I feel like I didn't do the email stuff, so I'm resending in my thoughts just in case. So, season 11, Gimme and O. Felicity almost had sex. Elena gives her the great advice of be the ball, which I use to this day. You gotta put your hand up to your face, do the little like tunnel vision, and say, be the ball. Anyways, this is a great episode. Funny stuff all around. I love like Felicity almost burning Noel's roof down, and Noel's like, we can still do it. We can still do it. Good stuff. Also, we found out that Julie and Ben weren't hooking up, kind of. Just so you guys know, no points awarded there because you guys thought they were hooking up again, which I don't think they were. But now they are. Yeah, and then this is the halfway point for season 1 of Felicity, so I'm going to need your rankings of the characters. You can rank whoever you want. And, yeah. Until next week, ladies. Peace.
This is so fun.
Wow,
Rankings. Okay, so who's in the pot here?
Yeah, we need to make a. We got to make a quick list. Who's so we got Felicity, Julie, Noel, Ben, Elena.
Julie, Ben, Noel, Elena.
Do we want to put like should
Sean and Megan?
Megan.
Sean, Megan.
Richard?
I don't think Blair should count. I feel like he's not around enough.
No,
to count.
he's a nothing. And I think that they need to be in like more than like 4 episodes at this point. Like, I don't know if we should include like Richard because you're just gonna play him on the bottom anyway.
No, listen, Richard has been on 2 episodes barely, so I don't think he should be on the list.
Okay,
yet.
do we include Sally?
No, because I don't even know who the fuck Sally is or if she's real.
Sally's a ghost. She's not real.
Yeah, she's not even real.
Sally is a ghost. Sally did say something at the end of the episode, but I don't give a shit what it was. So
okay, so Felicity, Julie, Noel, Ben, Megan, Sean, and am I missing anybody? Elena. So I need to do my rankings.
Okay,
here.
hold on. Okay, a little Tom, do a little like calculation noise.
calculating.
It's a good robot noise. Oh man.
Oh wait, no, I need to. I'm doing mine, but I am doing them on the fly very quickly. So I'm gonna try to pick up the pace. I don't know if mine are gonna be like popular. I feel like I'm gonna have some unpopular opinions here.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikers.
So I've got 7. You want to start with your number 7?
Beep beep boop boop beep boop.
I'm missing I need to put him in here. Where am I gonna put him though? But who's really last? Oh no, this is horrible.
I'm ready.
Okay, Sarah, you go first.
This was not very well thought out, but we didn't think about the fact that we're halfway through. So I'm putting Megan in number 7. I think that I still don't know what Megan's up to, and she just comes in and like puts her underwear in the fridge and does creepy things and has like creepy clown statues in her house, and and she spreads rumors. So I'm putting Megan last.
Interesting. I have Megan higher up than that just because I think she provides some like comedic relief at the very least. I am really struggling here. I'm gonna go with the this is a hot take. I think I put Noel last.
What?
He's adorable, right? I love me some Scott Foley and his pillowy lips, as we like to say. However, he's needy baby, greedy baby. He cheated on his girlfriend. He did so many things wrong. He kissed Felicity twice while he had a girlfriend. I just don't think he's been that great. And he also caused a fire.
I want to change my Twitter bio to needy baby, greedy baby.
I put him last, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's
so I vigorously defended Jess's right to slander Xander in the Buffy podcast.
Yes.
I'm having some trouble not objecting to this ranking.
So sorry, but it is what it is, right? Sarah, who is your number 6 on your list?
I'm gonna put Sean once again, kind of like Megan. Like, I just don't have enough of Sean yet. I like his inventions, and I think that he has a good business mind, but I just haven't learned like what makes Sean click.
I completely agree with you, and I also have Sean here. I love the little snippets that we've seen of him beyond the fact that he compared Julie to a plot of land. I generally enjoy him when he's on my screen. I think his little business ventures are really fun, and I hope we get more of them, but I couldn't put him above some other characters because he's not as fully fleshed out. So that's where he lands for me as well. All right, number 5, Sarah.
Hello. Tom
What?
didn't do his
Tom, sorry, where's your number 6?
Oh, I didn't. I'd go with Megan and Sean. I think I'm with Sarah at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sean.
Number 5. Number 5, I have Ben. And the reason is because Ben is like white rice. He is good, but plain. And I just want more from him.
I'm saying pretty much agree with that assessment of Ben, but this is where I have Megan. Because I love what Megan brings to the table. I love her being a thorn in Felicity's side. I love her putting her bra or underpants or whatever the hell she put in Felicity's mini fridge. I want to know what's in the box, Megan. But I absolutely love Megan. So Megan is falling at number 5 for me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit torn because I'm actually would be tempted to just put Felicity here. Yeah, I think I would put Felicity here.
Okay.
I'm giving Ben some credit, even though I'm very much Team Noel over Team Ben. I think I've made that.
I think that's been very clear, Tom.
But on the other hand, Felicity is like actively just ruining Ben's life, like all over the place. Like Ben. Like if Felicity wasn't there, Ben and Julie would be like so happy together at this point. They would have been dating for like months. They probably would have already slept together and like been in like this happy relationship. And instead, like they're just getting together now because of Felicity's path of destruction.
Yeah. Sarah, what do you have in the number 4 spot?
Number 4, I have Elena. I think that I really like the episode. It was a Thanksgiving episode where we got to see a little bit of Elena's home. I also really liked learning about like she's such an interesting, strong character because I love how she didn't want to like get the scholarship based off of like race or creed. Like she wanted to get it on merit. So I really like that episode as well. It's just like, you know, I just think that like we need to incorporate her more, give her more storylines. But I'm really excited about Elena versus like Ben, who like I'm not like excited to hear that much more about. So that's why Elena's in this place.
Number 4, I have Felicity. Girl, have not forgiven how crazy you've been. You are a little bit of a stalker. But you're a little messy. And I love a messy character. But I can't put you higher than this because also you're a little bit too much at times. And also very awkward and cringy a lot of the time. So Felicity is my number 4. What about you, Tom?
Yeah, this is where I would put Ben. I gave him the bump over Felicity because just like Felicity's ruined his life, but I don't particularly love Ben.
Yeah, that's very fair. I actually have Ben in my number 3 spot. And to Sarah's point, he's a little bland, right? He's a little milk toasty toast. He's a little boring, but he was stalked by Felicity. This is not his fault. He must be above her. And honestly, I feel like he's being so kind to Julie. And so I felt like this episode alone, I felt like did wonders for him, for where I would rank him. So Ben is my number 3. Sarah, what about you?
I have Noel here. He probably gets the hot bump, but also
probably
I think that he's like a really like interesting character, and I think that he also like he like messes up a lot, but I think that we are really supposed to root for him, and I think that once he gets some confidence, he's going to be less desperado, and I don't really foresee him like being like that problematic as the seasons go on.
Tom, what do you think? Who do you have at your number 3?
I think this is where I put Elena. I'm a little scared to put her this low because I think she's going to go on a murder spree at some point. But and she is the ball. But like her storylines aren't always like the ones I'm most interested in. But I do really like her, and I do think she brings a good energy to the show.
Yeah, I have Elena at number 2. I love Elena. I think her snark is fun. I love how straightforward she is. She always tells you what's on her mind. I love how much she kind of uses and abuses Noel at times. And I love her study methods. I love a reward system when you study. So Elaine, I love the way she got the mini fridge. She called out nepotism. You know, I love Elena. I want more from Elena. I agree with you, Tom. Like I want more from Elena, but I'm happy with what we've gotten so far, and I want them to expand on her a bit. So I have her at my number 2. Sarah, you have 2 characters left. Who's at number 2?
Number 2 is Felicity. We wouldn't be here, right? If there would be no Felicity show if there was no Felicity. You got to give credit where credit's due. She is actively trying to make improvements on her character, and she's actively trying to improve herself and better herself. And on top of that, like, I think that it's been really interesting to follow her journey. So I think that I am moving up Felicity in my rankings, and that is why currently she's at number 2.
Wow, high placement for her. Tom, who do you have at your number 2?
Yeah, so this is where I would put Noel higher than both of you. I'm clearly the biggest Noel fan of the group. He did kiss Felicity twice while he had another relationship. However, as was discussed, him and Hannah had an agreement where they could date other people.
Wait, that happened after the kisses.
No, him and Hannah had that agreement. He just told Felicity about it after the kisses.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
And she was kind of dating some guy in Chicago.
She was talking to some guy. Her lips were not attacking someone else's lips.
I don't think that they had an open relationship, Tom.
They did not have
an
open relationship.
Go back and rewatch the episode where they first kissed, and he talked about Hannah. And like,
I think he was probably lying.
Yeah.
And Jessica, when Hannah said she was talking to some guy in Chicago, you do know that meant that she was making out with that guy, right?
No, she said they were getting to know each other. I don't think they were making out. Hannah's a very nice person. I don't think she's gonna be cheating on people. I'm just saying.
Well, if
I'm
they
pro
have an
Hannah.
open
This is a
relationship and they're not cheating.
Well, if they had an open relationship.
Jess, what do you think getting to know each other means? It means they were making out.
That's
talking. Chatting, you know.
No, it's talking is not chatting.
I can't with these. No, listen.
Talking is more than talking. What the fuck?
I will die before I admit that talking means more than talking, because that's ridiculous. Use a different word. Talking is taken. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
The number 1 spot. I think we might all have the same. I can't remember what Tom has left, right? We're all pro Julie. This is a pro Julie podcast.
She's our queen.
Queen Julie never does anything wrong.
I mean, I really like Julie. I think that she also, like Ben, got like brought into this mess without her approval. Like she probably just wants to be erased from this whole narrative and is going to therapy. She had like some really bad things happen to her in her first semester and she's working through them. She has communicated very well with Felicity while if Felicity wants to listen or not. And she is also trying to communicate very well with Ben. And on top of that, like she's the only one that leaves Noel alone. Like truly, like she really just
she asked him for advice just this episode.
Yeah,
but like she's not like up his ass. She just wants to play her guitar and find her mom, her birth mom.
Yeah. I love Julie. I think she's always trying to be the best person she can be and like be kind to everyone. And I appreciate that about her. I think she's a great friend. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll ruin her. You know, it's certainly possible they could ruin her as a character. Wouldn't put it past the show to ruin any of these characters.
Yeah. She's also played by the Pink Power Ranger, and I know that doesn't mean anything to you two, but the Pink Power Ranger was very important.
Power Ranger,
very important to me in my childhood.
But I like Trina. Isn't Trina the yellow one?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Trina. I had like a nightgown that was like a yellow Power Ranger nightgown. So that's what was my Power Ranger of choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, Julie is currently the leader of our rankings. We'll see if she stays that way by the end of the season. But also, thank you so much, DBK, for the reminder. Please also send us a reminder at the end of the season. Although we'll probably remember because we do a season wrap up. So we'll remember to do it for that. But I always forget halfway through the season. I never can remember.
Yeah, we
appreciate the reminder.
Yeah. I do have a voicemail from Linda from last week. So some thoughts on Finally. So I am going to play that.
I love this episode so much. There's so much chaos. We finally meet Richard, who, has been studying all day. He worked up an appetite. He just wants to feed his belly. And Noel has the audacity to barge in and report him. It's okay because the tables turn so quickly when Richard catches Noel and Felicity making out in the stacks and delivers my favorite line of the entire series. I'm going to report you. I'm going to report your ass.
Yeah.
The way Rob Benedict delivers this line has me in complete hysterics every single time. Then the chaos goes next level when Megan sells Noel some beach-saturated smoke powder and Noel's allergic reaction freak out from being confused by how tiny Elena is to being annoyed by how slow Megan is talking to its complete "this is unacceptable" freak out on Ben and Felicity is a pure comedic gold. I love every minute of this absolute chaos. And of course, Richard is there. He's always there. And he deems Noel unfit to be an RA. I just love this. I think he's such an awesome adversary for Noel. And I really feel like Richard he brings something that's been kind of missing, and I love it. I love his energy. I love everything about him, and this episode is just I got cut off. I was saying the episode is completely amazing. And just one more thing. Curing hiccups by holding a penny between your toes and thinking about 3 ultimate. What girl, what?
Yeah, I don't know if that was like good hiccup advice, but
I think we said at the time that it was like just to distract your brain.
Yeah, I believe it.
I love what Linda is saying about Richard being Noel's adversary, because Noel thinks Ben is his adversary, but we know Richard is his adversary.
Yes.
And I want this to continue throughout the entire series, that like Richard is always trying to undercut Noel. That would put me on Richard's side. Screw the barbecuing in the dorm. Light up that fire, baby. I'll be on Team Richard if he just keeps undercutting Noel. That would be great.
And he will.
We'll see. Yeah, he's the one we need. Apparently, Richard is our hero.
Yeah.
So.
This is a Team Richard podcast.
Apparently, we are. So if you want to send in feedback, please do so. Shit90spod.com, shit90spod@gmail.com, or hit us up on social media at shit90spod. Sarah, would you like to hear the title of the next episode of Felicity?
Tell me.
Season 1, episode 12, Friends. Is Felicity going to try to be friends with Ben or something?
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
I feel like that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
We'll see. Well, that's next episode. Tom, thank you so much for joining us, bringing your wisdom, bringing your insight, as always, bringing your opinions, and bringing the research on Gimme and Noel. We greatly appreciate your service.
Thank you. It was a joy to give my book report on just the masterpiece that is Gimme and Noel.
Anything you'd like to plug or promote?
No, nothing really plug or promote. Excited to listen to your future Felicity podcast and the Buffy podcast, which I am loving.
Yes, we also have Buffy podcasts coming out on Thursdays if you haven't caught up on those yet. And this is Jam in January, and we also just released That Thing You Do! ! So check out that podcast as well. It was much shorter than the movie, so don't be alarmed. You don't have to listen to a 2.5-hour podcast about a 2.5-hour movie. I think that's about everything. Sarah, anything else you can think of?
No, the Chiefs are up 14-7 in the game right now.
Well, now they know exactly when we recorded this podcast, Sarah. Jeez. Well, thank you all for listening. We will be back next week with season 1, episode 12. Until then, have a good one. Bye.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.